Hello. This year I was a senior camp lead counselor, which I've done before. So senior camp, that's ages 13 to 18, or my dorm was 13 to 18. And Jelly was my assistant counselor, so that was fun. Her first time in senior camp. Well, originally I didn't want to talk because I didn't have anything to say, and then people started saying these things, and I was like, oh, I have so much to say. But kind of touching on what Holly was saying about how her dorm, like, a lot of the girls have these really tough stories, these backgrounds of different, like, just terrible things happening in their life. And that's something that really stuck out to me, even on, like, the first day. A few days before camp, we get a list of all the girls in our dorm, and because I've been going to SEP so much, I kind of recognized some of them. I'd never had any of them in my dorms before, but I recognized their names, and some of them I knew their stories. Like, I knew that this one girl, her brother had just died last year, and another girl, I knew that her parents had just recently got divorced, and so I knew these things about these girls. And so I came in knowing these things, and then I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. Like, a few days go by, and they still haven't shared their stories. And I remember Jelly and I were talking about it, and we're like, these girls haven't, like, opened up, and it's so weird because we know so much about them, but they haven't told it to us. And one day, like, we have this solo time in the morning, like 15 minutes where we can just pray and whatever. And we were supposed to be, thinking about the message, and my heart was just breaking for these girls. And I just knew that all of them came from such tough backgrounds. Like, we had 10 girls in my dorm, and most of them, like, we get this packet, this, like, confidential packet that says different information about the girls, and we knew that more than half of them, their parents were divorced, and just different things like that. And I was like, why aren't these girls, like, sharing their stories? And then it kind of occurred to us that, well, we hadn't really, had a time that was like, oh, like, girls, share your stories. And so then one night all the senior girls were supposed to go to a campfire, and we were having, like, worship and whatever at the campfire, and our dorm just wasn't feeling it. Like, 2 girls were already crying for we didn't know what reason, and just no one wanted to be there, so my dorm left early, and we were just the only dorm to do that, and everyone was like, is this allowed? And we went back to the dorm, and we turned off all the lights, and we had these battery-powered candles, and we put them out, and then we just kind of started telling the girls about how helpful it is to share your story, not to be like, oh, my story's worse than yours, let's have, but just, it's very, like, therapeutic to share your story, and just about how people are in our lives to help us. And so we kind of just left that open, and we were like, does anybody, like, want to share? And then, to our surprise, this girl, like, raised her hand right away, and she started just telling us her story, and we just had no idea. And then this other girl went, and everyone was, like, soon everyone was crying, but not in a bad way of, like, let's share horror stories. It was like, let's comfort each other. And so after each person that shared their story, I would say, so what can we pray for you about? And then the girl would tell us what they wanted us to pray about, and then we'd all the girls, we'd gather around her and put our hands on her and pray for her. And it was just a really cool experience of just having these girls, seeing them be healed in a way through sharing their story, and becoming more comfortable with that. So, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say.